This is the Night Wolf howling at you, and today we've once more jumped through Krang's portal to head over to the planet of Eternia, where we can talk about the Turtles of Grayskull. This time we have Mer-Man, the mutated mindless Leviathan. Just a note on the front of the box, we do see that he has both the legs and a long tail, presumably using the long snake Naga tail that they've put out recently with Lady Slither. And I can't help but think the bare-chested one in the corner there is supposed to be referencing the Revelations series where Merman didn't actually wear a harness. Quick look on the side, we see Merman in all of his glory holding a big old sword. On the back, we see an image that would be another perspective from one of the scenes from this Waves mini comic, where it shows the power sword stuck in a rock with Merman defending or trying to get to it against the Ninja Turtles. Raphael's looking kind of pissed right there, too.
The ocean warlord heeded Skeletor's beckoning from Snake Mountain at his own peril. The two always held an uneasy alliance, but Merman did not suspect that he was walking into a trap. He was taken by the alien called Krang, covered in mutagen, and awoke forever changed in both body and mind.
Then the other side, we see Merman with his tail again. Let's open this sucker up. On the side here, we see how to put a sword in his hand, which I would hope by now everybody knows how to do that. And it shows the swappable ability of the tail and the legs. Here we have Merman's little card, since they don't give us a mini comic with the deluxe figures, which is a shame. Although I suppose if they just gave us the same wave cards, I wouldn't really care either. Here we got the artwork that shows us the different pieces, and to be perfectly honest, the head looks a little too big for the body in this image. We get to see Merman in his fully mutated form. On the back, Merman, mutated mindless Leviathan. Mutagen master powers, Merman. Telepathic control of sea creatures. Controls the ocean waters. Razor sharp claws and teeth. Mutation. Devolved into half Leviathan. Drips toxic ooze from tail. Algae for brains. Honestly, that sounds about normal, but he did a face plant. So I am pretty certain, like 99% certain, that this is the same spear that comes with the cartoon collection, or Trident, I should say, version of Merman. It's fine. It feels like it's probably been added as an afterthought just to bulk out the packaging a little bit. I think I would have liked to have seen a better design for it. Like something that more matches his sword, which looks really kind of crusty, like barnacle ridden and everything, which is cool. And the colors on it look nice too. So I think they should have done something like this with this. And just for the heck of it, let's discuss his legs real quick. So it looks like on the legs, the shins are probably new. The feet are the same ones that come with like Whiplash and Buzz Off. And I think the legs are also the ones that came with Buzz Off. Possibly even, or I should say the thighs, I mean. I think they use them on Clawful also. But yeah, we can definitely see a lot of reuse here, but some new parts. Like, I don't recognize the shins at all. Let's look at the Merman himself. That is one heck of a face sculpt. And there's even there's a lot of sculpting inside there and paint. Like, they put a lot of effort into this head. I'm not gonna lie, they did a glorious job on this. And like that thing in the back, like it looks like his throat and the constricting bits, when you swallow. I hope I can get a good close up picture to be able to post here to show you guys. He comes with a new harness here, which honestly doesn't fit very well with the tail in place at the moment. Like, there's quite a bit of gap there. So I think they could have better designed this a bit more. It looks like the skirt piece is a separate piece. I'm not sure that'll fit on the or on the regular legs. But the head sculpt is new. Obviously, the body is our standard body. I know I saw these pretty recently on a figure, and I can't remember who. I don't think it was Extendar. I think it was actually one of the WWE figures that I recently reviewed. Anyway, he is using the same hands as Vecna and Demigorgon. At least the grabbing goober hand. And I'm having a brain fart at the moment, but I think this actually might be a new one because I think they had two gripping hands with the Demigorgon and Mossman. So the harness design looks really nice, though. I like it. It's got some good detail. The shoulder pauldrons are side graded so that if they were real, they'd probably move a little bit. But that face sculpt, man, seriously, that face sculpt is just glorious. He looks like he's kind of trying to. He looks like what he's mutated into is some kind of combination of angler and eel. And the back of the harness, of course, does have the peg holes that we use for like the turtle shells or Casey Jones's backpack. I'm sure this is also how April's wings are going to fit to her. Articulation wise in this form, because I'm going to do the articulation with both this and the legs since I'm pretty sure that this will sit better with the legs. Head's on a ball joint, can spin around. Doesn't really interfered with by the armor, even though the armor is like hitting up on him like a good quarter inch. You can look up, you can look down, look over and up. Look at his shoulder because you see some kind of zit there. Cyst. And he does have the same kind of like lightning effect in the veins that the other figures have had. The arm hinges up and down, spins, but of course, as you probably guessed, the shoulder pauldron does get in the way, so it's an interference factor. Arm bends at the less than 90 degree that most Origins figures do, but there is a pin, so we can spray it out. The wrist joint spins around, and it has the in and out hinge. We can spin him at the torso. We can spin him at the top joint here, and there is a ball so he can kind of wiggle. You gotta wiggle it just a little bit. Then we got the second joint here where it also spins and wiggles. And the bottom joint. It kind of moves, but not a whole lot. Right now, if I go much further than this, it feels like I could break something. I'm assuming that's intentional since this is what really holds up the weight. There's no peg holes on the bottom of this, so the only thing you can try to do is match the, or get everything angled right so we can stand. The tail fin is attached at the back as a separate piece. Oops, and that's what I'm talking about. That's the one problem with the Naga tail, although I think Merman with this extra fin here does give him a little bit better balance than the previous Queen Slither had. Lady Slither, sorry. So that's our Merman. He looks like a menace, man. Like, this is a gloriously evil looking character. The only version of Merman that looks even more evil is probably the one from the CGI He-Man series that was on Netflix, which if you haven't watched it, you should, because it was actually really well done, even if it was basically He-Man Power Rangers crossover baby thing. But let's go ahead and swap out the legs, shall we? So we're going to find out if the skirt piece, it does fit on there. Doesn't look like it was designed to, but it does fit loosely. Okay, so now with the skirt piece on there, the armor, well, yeah, because the skirt piece is still on there, the armor's still sitting kind of tall, you know? Uh, put it down a little bit. It's still loose in the back, though. Like, I don't know if this was a purposeful decision or not, but now if we get rid of the skirt piece, you know, because you can kind of see how the armor sits below the belt line. That's why when you have the skirt piece on there, it pushes it up so much. Because now we can see it sits around his head a lot better without the skirt piece. So let's go ahead and double check here. The head still spins around fine. You can see it a lot better though because the harness is down. Again, we don't have the skirt piece on there. Shoulder pauldrons still interfere with the arm articulation. The legs, however, can kick up yay far. Oh, and I just popped them out of the... Kick up yay far. Kick back yay far. This knee joint feels like it's fused, so I'm going to have to heat that up. This knee joint moves just fine. It gets us that less than 90 degree that we usually get. There's, of course, the boot cut, because there's always a boot cut. And we get the little hinge and the ability to spin on the bottom of the foot. So there's that. He is molded in that clear plastic. I've been collecting toys long enough to know that I am a little leery of clear plastic toys sometimes, because they do tend to be more fragile. But I hope this guy does not break. I do think this is a good look for the footed version. He is a character that I think getting two of would be good, just because that allows you to have him in both forms. Let's go ahead and stick his sword in place. This is the one thing that I hate about this hand design, is it's such a pain in the ass to get the stuff in there. And of course, with them only having the one gripping hand, you can't really put the other one in the other hand. I mean, we can keep trying, but it doesn't stay in place. Oh, there we go. Not that he's actually holding it, but hey, he's got both. This is one of those items that I think is just going to go into the parts bin. If they had designed it to look nicer like this thing, I would actually probably consider keeping it with him. But there's also not a good place to plug in any of his weapons on the back, so can't really carry multiple. This might be the easiest thing to ever put in this hand, though. Honestly, when you get right down to it, this trident just looks so boring with this figure. There is like nothing about it that screams that it should go with this version of Merman. So, yeah, parts bin. That's it. Mattel, you just wasted money on plastic that could have been better suited for something else with the figure. But hey, at least he didn't come with the corncob sword. Speaking of which, I brought the Lords of Power Merman as a quick comparison because honestly, with the way this one's designed, this is probably the closest to him that we get. And yeah, definitely two very different looking figures. He looks like he should be king of the mermen. He looks like he should just be the one of the army members when you get right down to it. But you still can see the basic design cues taken from both, you know? I would definitely say that the Turtles of Grayskull Merman is worth the money. He is pretty badass looking. Like, I don't think you're going to be upset having him in your collection. Even if you're not collecting the Turtles of Grayskull stuff, this is a cool figure just to throw in with your villains. So, and in case you were wondering, I did find Merman here in the wild. He's at Walmart. And Walmart, of course, doesn't have the spare parts like the Target ones do. So there's that. But yeah, he was actually sitting on one of the upper shelves. They didn't actually have him on a peg at the time. I just saw the side of the box and was like, hey, that's Merman. Snag. So, mine. It's mine. All mine. I will definitely have to get a second figure of him when I see him. I'm not sure. I do wait for clearance on figures kind of to buy duplicates a lot. But this is one of those figures where I don't think he's likely to go on clearance. I think this is one that people will get even if they're not big fans of the series, just because he does look like an evil monster and he would go well with a lot of different toy lines. I think. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this review. Please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you're planning on getting this guy and what you think of his design altogether. And look at that tail, man. He's got quite the backside. Peace and love.